Okay, we will speak little bit on the Japanese yen. Japan had been using quantitative easing to increase their money supply, and some of the money was invested in America. Especially after this Iranian war, the oil price has gone up, and inflation has hit Japan after at least 15 years, and Japan's loan profile is of something like close to 260% of GDP. So because the inflation was low, they could use quantitative easing, and some of these monies were invested in America. Now, because the yen is falling in value, they have to liquidate these invested in America, and they have to bring back that dollars back into Japan and try to prop up the yen. So that means, and if you take the tariff force and things like that, there is some kind of conflict between Europe and America, and Europeans also moving away some investors from America. So usually when there is a crisis, people used to invest in America. American dollar was considered to be the safe haven. But this time it is different. Some countries have taken away the investments in America, but some countries still invest in America, like Britain and things like that. So it's a mixed picture with people moving away, and part of it is because of Donald Trump. So I always say that Donald Trump is a friend of the South because he is going to liberate us. Now when it comes to bombing of Iran, the pattern is this. Usual pattern is after the stock market closes, Donald Trump goes and bomb Iran from Friday to Sunday. Then the bombing is reduced afterwards, right? So he was kind of manipulating the stock market in America. The oil prices used to come down, and people who were close to Donald Trump, they say that they have manipulated the market. So they have earned money by playing in the stock market. So you had two or three things happening. Now, Saudi Arabia tried to have good relationship with China, but Saudi Arabia ultimately does what Americans ask them to do. There are many reasons for that. If you take the Gulf states, if you take these countries were created artificially by British and the French, and the Americans are supporters of it. So there is a kind of, they don't have democracy in these Gulf states, so they always worked with the Americans. They pumped in the dollar, they pumped in the petrodollar, and they pumped those dollars into the American economic system. Now, Iran has destroyed most of the American bases in West Asia. Iran is not attacking Israel. Why? There are many reasons. One of the reasons is there is political upheaval in Israel. So Iran doesn't want to attack. One of the reasons why they don't want to attack Israel is because they don't want to unify Iran behind Netanyahu. So they want Israel behind, they want to unify Israel behind Netanyahu. So they want this political crisis in Israel, internal political crisis in Israel to fester. Okay? So that is one of the reasons why Iran is not attacking. But their missiles and everything are locked. So if Israel attacks Iran, they are going to act. In America, there are severe shortages. They have shortages in diesel, they have shortages in kerosene, they have shortages in fertilizer, they have shortages in rare earth material which is needed for the AI industry, artificial intelligence or IT industry, because you need these things, helium, to create new chips, new and modern chips. And whereas the Chinese are supposed to have their increase in storage for helium, and they are supposed to have petroleum for 1 year. The Americans have used their reserve petroleum or reserve fuel, and they are running short of diesel and especially gasoline. They have some petrol. They have some stocks of petrol, not diesel and kerosene. And the last 24 hours or 48 hours, America wanted to bomb Iran. Then Saudi Arabia has started this crisis with the Houthis, and Houthis have hit the Saudis. So Saudi Arabia is difficult transporting their petroleum, and some of the petroleum installations have been hit. So Saudi Arabia has said, it is alleged that Saudi Arabia asked America not to hit Iran, because then Iran probably going to hit all this infrastructure in West Asia and the Gulf countries. So if you don't get the petroleum dollar, then the American will lose much investments. So America is running severe budget deficits, and America has been hit in different fronts, and also in the investment field also. Most of the things are being moving away, but some countries like Britain are still investing in America. So there is a possibility with this run on the yen that next thing will be the American dollar. So America runs, the way I understand, America was bankrupt in 1974. The only reason America is running is because of the reserve fiat currency. I am told that Iran, if you take Iraq oil money goes into the American treasury, and then only the Americans release that money. And I think when it comes to Venezuela, this is what the Americans have done. So Americans use all petroleum money to enhance their system. But if the Gulf states are moving away from America, Gulf states have severe problem with this defense. The Americans can't defend the Gulf states, so that means there is no petroleum coming out of the Gulf states, right? And because of the blocking of the Strait of Hormuz, and then if you take the Red Sea, so there is no dollars coming out of the Gulf states, and some of the Gulf states are experience a liquidity crisis. So we have a lot of things working against America, and if America hits civilian infrastructure, Iran is going to hit some of the Gulf countries' infrastructure, and they will hit desalination plants and energy capacity, energy producing capacity. So without air conditioners and without these desalination, some of the Gulf states cannot survive. So there is a possibility that there will be a run on the American dollar behind this, and the catalyst for that would be the run on the yen, and this yen, some of the investments in America by Japan. Japan has the most investments, earlier China had certain investments. China is pulling out their investment in America and they are moving their money elsewhere. And China is investing a lot in gold, right? So if you take Goldman Sachs or some other bank has said that if you take the yen currency up till about 2027, there will be run on the yen currency. It is possible there will be a run on the American dollar behind the yen currency. So my understanding is that there will be a backlash on the American dollar, and America had the Federal Reserve meeting was there. They were supposed to increase their interest rates, but they didn't increase. If you take the inflation in America, it is about 3%, right? It's something like 3 point something or something close to that. So usually the Western countries have inflation target of 2%, but this time Donald Trump has changed the chairman of the Federal Reserve, and the Federal Reserve they were expecting some interest rate hike, 25 basis point or 50%, but this time but that means America is going to have more inflation. That means the dollar is losing its value. So at one point, right? Okay. Another thing is that America has borrowed a lot of money in the American system to invest in the AI sector, mostly AI sector, right? But if the interest rates go up, then this AI sector also will be in crisis in America. So there is a good chance the American dollar will be assaulted. There will be a run on the American dollar, and I expect American dollar to follow the trend in yen, and this will have certain dislocation in the American economy. And as far as Iran has systematically destroyed the American bases in the Gulf states. So in a way, Iran is winning by not losing to the America. I mean, for Iran to win means to survive the attacks and come on top, because that will destroy the defense architecture in Gulf states and West Asia, and it will have a strong bearing on the American petrodollar, right? People will try to move away from the petrodollar, and more important, you will be getting less investment in American economy. So there is a possibility that there will be a run on the American dollar.